Hi guys, good morning. Actually, it's not good morning, it's good afternoon. I am working from home today, home office. Just finished and wrapped up my bookkeeping for the year. I probably mentioned this in the previous video, but I'll mention it again. Paper and Spark. If you're looking for a mostly automated process for bookkeeping, and it's not that I don't mind a completely automated system, like, for example, I don't know if they're still around, like QuickBooks or GoDaddy, but I know sometimes those systems fail. Sometimes will duplicate revenue, which is actually very problematic. And so is duplicating expenses because it's not accurate. But this gives you a good handle on some automated processes as well as manual. So in my opinion, there's little room for error that you would be unaware of, okay? Anyway, love Paper and Spark. I'd put the link down below, but I probably will forget. So Google it, you'll see. She has spreadsheets for Etsy, Amazon, Shopify. She's quite a bit. And her videos, her, instructional videos, it's like, I want to be here when I grow up. She explains it so well. Thorough, easy to understand. I love it. Anyway, a lot of handmade sellers use her. So today, I want to discuss something really fun. It's not that fun, actually. It's, oh, hold on. Sorry, my employee messaged me. I was thinking last night about some things and dumb shit that Etsy sellers or even general handmade sellers do. And literally, as I started to think about it, more and more things came to my mind. And I was like, so inspired. I was like, I wrote some things down because I'm like, people need to be told. People need to be told this, and I'm going to tell them. Just FYI, I was much more in a mood last night thinking about it than I am this morning. But I want to record this video because, again, as you may know, I'm on medicine that kind of slows down my thoughts and all that type of stuff. And I'll be interested to see, with such a passionate topic, how I respond, okay? So I have my little list here. I'm probably gonna actually elaborate more during this, but I still wanna go off my list. I have my computer in front of me, okay? So the reason why I'm making this video is because I want you, if you're an Etsy seller or an Amazon seller or whatever, I want you to take this list and realize that this is the dumb shit we all do. Whether we're starting new, whether we've been in the business for a while, and because it's dumb, you really should stop, okay? You really should stop or work towards stopping. I don't care if I get hate on this video. This is my opinion, although I believe a lot of it's fact. And I'll explain why in some of them, okay? So here's some of the dumb shit Etsy sellers do. Oh, I'm kind of lost here. Hold on. The biggest one, okay, not the biggest one, a big one, is they create stuff people don't want to buy. You might say, what? What is that? Yeah, and you have no proof of it. You have no proof that people are trying to buy your stuff. So here you are, you're trying to sit and you're trying to create new product. Fantastic, right? But you put no effort into researching the market, researching what's trending now, researching what customers want. You put no effort into, backtracking and going back to the messages customers have sent you and what their changes that they want to do to your current product are. Nothing. You have no data, and you're just creating what you like, or maybe a smidgen of what people like, right? Because maybe you saw your competitors or whatever, and that's just like the tip, right? Like, you're just seeing what your competitors are doing and you're kind of copying, right? I think that's dumb. I think you not having a process of understanding what your customers want. And then, of course, and by the way, it's not just what customers want. It's a little bit more complex than that. I'm not asking you to be as complex when you first start. If you've been doing this for 6 months, a year, fair, right? You don't have a full process. But if you're years in, if you don't have a legitimate process that allows you to then create a product collection, release it, and have people actually want to buy it, and we're not talking about optimizing the listing, SEO, photos, etc. That's separate. The actual product itself. if you don't have a process in place that allows you to research, okay, so I don't know what you designed, but the font styles, the most popular colors, the example photo, the example text that you have on it because it relates to the customer, like all this matters, okay, when you're creating your product. And depending on what you sell, right? I could give you more examples, but I feel like a lot of people, by the way, do you like my hair? Talk about that later. Don't have a legitimate process or even close to it. It's okay to not have it fully down packed, but I feel a lot of sellers, and you could argue that they're probably amateurs, right? And that's fine because they're new to it. Don't have an idea in the world of, and maybe they lucked out. Maybe they don't have an idea in the world because so far they've been doing okay and they've lucked out. How they luck out? Well, they create something that they like that actually people like as well. They create something that they saw on somebody else's shop and they did something similar, right? And they were able to win with that. But what you will notice over time, or have noticed over time, if you haven't noticed it yet, is when you continue to create collections and you're like, why is nobody buying this? It's because you just lucked out in the past, okay? You caught out to some things that were trending, whatever, but you can't repeat that process. You don't have it down to a science, okay? I have it down to a science. So I think that's done. I also think not creating enough throughout the year. I'm jumping around, so in my list, but dumb shit that people do is only releasing a collection, whatever a collection means to you, 10 products, 30 products, it doesn't matter, once a year, once every few years, twice a year, right? And even if you are like, no, I release several times a year, but maybe it's only 2 products every time you release. No. You might say, Dalia, what is the right number? Who says, are you the boss of me? Like, who says there's like official rule to that? It's not about that. It's about, we're in e-commerce, right? We're retail of some sort. And so things really revolve around people's lives, seasons, etc. And so new things are coming up. You can't, for the most part, you can't take, this product and, as another dumb shit people do is expect that this product who has sold well for 2 years straight, you get upset when it's no longer selling. It's no longer a bestseller. People are sick of this design, okay? People are over you and over your dated item. You don't feel that way because you're like, but just not too long ago it was selling, and it stopped. Well, guess what? One of your competitors who came to the scene, with a new product beat it. Okay? It's just what it is. It's kind of hard to believe. It happened to me literally a million years ago. I had a product that was a top seller for like 2 or 3 years straight, and I was also done. And I was like, why did it stop? And now I understand. Why would I buy your product? And by the way, I'm not saying that some products are not going to be bestsellers for many, many years. It's possible, but when something loses its, spark, it's probably because other people did something else that's even better, that relates to customers more, that has a new font style that people like, etc. Okay? Hold on. Here's another dumb shit people do. Being pissed at friends and family who don't buy your products. I know this is a thing amongst the Etsy community, but when you first start, you're pushing your friends and family to buy from you. And first of all, it's not recommended for you to do that, especially if you're making them leave reviews because it's not allowed, whatever, right? But besides that, imagine you don't even let them leave a review. You're just like, oh, support me. You're always supporting Taylor Swift and blah. I hate that example. I hate it. Here's why I hate it. Because, and it's not about Taylor Swift or any other famous person. This is in general. People like Taylor Swift have worked many years to this, right? It's not, okay, imagine I was a singer. Imagine I'm a singer and I look as fabulous as her. It's still not as easy to do what she did. There's a lot of business strategy that goes behind it. Yes, maybe she didn't do it all. Maybe she has a team. It doesn't matter. Whether you call her a multimillionaire, billionaire, doesn't matter. But she has earned the spot to make that much, okay? I'm not going to argue with you that there's not people that work harder than her that don't make as much as her. We know the people that actually work harder than her that don't make as much, but it doesn't matter. In the entertainment world, people are willing to pay. You guys are all willing to pay. And so I don't care that your friends and family was willing to buy a $500 ticket to Taylor Swift, but they won't pay $20 to support your shirt business, okay? It's different. It's different. Unless you create a craze behind your shirt business, yeah. I can't articulate it well, and I hope you understand. I just hate when I hear that. And forget famous people. I hate pushing your friends in. They're not your market. I'm yelling. They're not your market. See, now I'm getting antsy. Now I'm in the mood to explain to you the dumb shit that Etsy sellers do. They are not your market. So to rely on them is stupid because it's not a good long-term strategy. Yes, it'll give you some motivation, which by the way is another dumb shit Etsy sellers do. I'll get to that in a second. It'll give you motivation. It'll push you forward, right? Like whatever. But what is that going to last? 5 minutes? It might help get your business off the ground, right? Because you just need, a handful plus sales to help give you some more money to invest more and to continue to grow. But otherwise, it's really dumb strategy because you can't expect your friends and family to continue to buy from you forever. Learn some real strategies. Learn how to actually survive in the e-commerce world. Even if you don't do e-com, imagine you sell locally, okay? Learn how to actually survive. Your friends and family don't need 30 different shirts from you, okay? It gets me so upset when people pass around that stupid, is it a meme? I don't even know. That they'll support this and that, but they won't support you in your dream. Pisses me off. I'm only gonna buy from you for my friends and family if I need your product. Just pisses me off. Anyway, so back to the motivation thing. Another thing that pisses me off about Etsy sellers is they don't really have a motivation strategy, a motivation plan. Let me elaborate. So remember how I told you that sometimes you go rely on friends and family for multiple reasons to buy from you, but one of the reasons may be you just need that belief in yourself that people want your products, so you're forcing your friends and family to buy from you. Sorry, my screen went off. Dumb, right? But you need a legitimate motivation plan, not because in the beginning you needed to push forward, but this is a permanent thing. At least for me, and I noticed for a lot of sellers, that I think it's really beneficial if they have a motivation plan. It's simple. I'm gonna teach you exactly how to do it right now. You take a sheet of paper, okay? Any sheet of paper, put it in a book, put it on your phone, doesn't matter. You're gonna write a list of the things that give you dopamine spikes. It's a motivation, okay? For example, I'm gonna share some things with you about myself, okay? So I keep looking this way because I have guests in my house and I think sometimes they're passing by because the doors is glass. Anyway, so one of the things is listening to music while I'm working. Another thing is make sure I'm not hungry. Maybe I need to eat something. Maybe I need to drink something. I'm sharing some basics with you. Another thing is maybe I am attacking something that's very difficult for me to attack, to implement and to do at work. So maybe I should either start with some easy stuff to help check things off my to-do list that gives me motivation to then do the hard thing, or possibly the hard thing is really hard. So maybe I should take it and say, okay, this is really hard. I don't even know how to start. Let me break this down into, instead of one major task, let me break it down into 6 tasks, okay? That's another thing I do. Another thing I do is I go out for a walk. Another thing I do is, this is something, is kind of like, unless you're in the community, well, maybe even then you probably don't know, but I'll just explain it. I sometimes, I know this sounds weird, but it works for me. Sometimes I record myself, like I'm doing right now. I record myself talking through the thing I'm trying to do, as if I'm trying to teach somebody. I know the video's only for me, nobody sees it, nothing. But for example, imagine I don't feel like doing my ad campaigns, adjusting my ad campaigns for Amazon, okay? Imagine I feel like doing it. In order for me to push forward and do it, I'll record myself talking about it, adjusting it as if I'm teaching myself. It's a term called body doubling. I would recommend you look into it. There's actually many ways you could do body doubling. Another way is actually working around other folks. I know some of you are solo entrepreneurs, and that's fine. I have a team of people that I work with. Sometimes I do better without them. Sometimes I do better with them. That's also on my list of my motivation list, is where if I'm working in my office, I go downstairs and work with amongst the people. I still work on my stuff, but I want people next to me. It's almost like they're holding me accountable. Okay. I also do a checklist. I like to have everything looked out so then I can check things off. That helps give me motivation. I mentioned something earlier, but I didn't finish my thought. What was it? Oh, the body doubling thing. So yeah, I record myself, and then sometimes I record myself if I'm really overwhelmed. I record myself in my thoughts. Again, I have ADHD, so this really helps me. The current medicine I'm on kind of helps me slow down those thoughts, but nonetheless, when I record myself, I get them all out, I write things down, and then once I work through it, I stop the recording. Or if I'm trying to work through a process, like let's say another thing, forget the Amazon ads. Imagine like I'm creating new products, talking to myself out loud, right? Inner dialogue, but having it recorded as if I'm talking to somebody, or like I'm recording it on purpose so I don't feel weird just talking to nobody, is really helpful for me. So helpful. Like body doubling for me is one of those go-tos that like I use fairly often. That is like 10 out of 10 for me, okay? There's probably a few more things on my list, but you should create your own list, okay? Because many times we rely on sales, right? To give us that dopamine hit, to get us to push forward. And that's great. I think that's, that's normal. But sometimes you'll have a slow sales day. Sometimes, Etsy shuts down your shop for 2 days and you're like, I don't know what to do with my life, right? And all this stuff. And we still have to push forward, right? Or sales is down for the month and blah, blah. You should not stop work. You can't. That's for the week. There's a reason why we do the things we do. It's the reason why we are entrepreneurs. It's the reason why we create products, sell online, etc. Okay? And there's a reason why other people don't work for themselves, okay? Something has to separate you from them. It's not that we're better than them or they're better than us. It's not about that. We're just different. Our mindsets are different. And, a lot of people that start out selling online maybe don't continue it. Maybe they failed. It's not for them, and that's fine. But if you're like, no, I don't want to fail. It is for me, etc. You need to push forward even on bad days. And by the way, does it mean that sometimes you can't have a bad day and do nothing? I'm not saying that. That does happen. That's okay. But if you find yourself more often than not having a bad day and doing nothing, that's not good. Okay, we're going to take a little break before I continue and ask you about my hair. The lighting is, I took off the lighting because the lighting from the window is better. Okay, never mind my gray hairs, but this is my natural hair. Okay, let me turn around. And by the way, I can't see myself when I do that, so I don't know if you saw my head scar. If you did, and you're wondering what it is, you probably didn't see it. When I was young, it's a long story, I was playing football in somebody's kitchen, and somebody pushed me, and I dove right into the corner of the fridge. So I don't know if you see that scar there. You probably don't. Okay, well anyway, this is my natural hair. It's actually curlier, but I don't put things in it to make it curly. Anyway, and so I just put some things like serum on it just to make it not frizzy. And then because I don't like my hair in my face, I wish I was that person. I wish I was that person that puts their hair in their face and it just frames your face. I wish, because it looks so cute on people. I don't. I always put it behind my ears. Anyway, so to prevent me from putting it behind my ears often, because I'm trying to work today, I just did like a braid to put it away from my face, and it stays in place. What do you guys think? Let me see. Hold on. Okay, I bent down. Again, never mind my gray hairs. That's why it's not dark up there, but I like it. And I like to do, I'm asking because I'm trying to do styles that have my hair down without me always straightening it. Like this is wash and go, technically. I let it dry with it like wrapped like this for just a couple hours, like after I take a shower, before I go to sleep, I unravel it and I wake up beautiful. Anyway, so that was our intermission. Intermission, is that a word? Okay, let's move on. So what else do I think you guys do dumb shit about? This is gonna be controversial, and that's okay. Not trademarking your name. You might say, Dahlia, I just started a year ago. Why would I trademark my name? It's expensive, it's an annoying process, whatever. Not trademarking a name and not even checking to see if your name is available before you start using it. So imagine unofficially you start using Magnolia Crafts, okay? And like you're doing it, and then you realize over years that's been trademarked, the .com is taken, and the social medias are taken, or one of the other. That's dumb. That's dumb. First and foremost, when you choose a name for your business, and by the way, you might listen to this and say, I already have a name for my business. Fair, but hear me out. When you choose a name for your business, you should make sure all the socials, the email, the Gmail, the Facebook page, all those things, the trademark is available. Okay? And there's no confusion between your name and somebody else's. So for example, you don't want to get Magnolia Crafts if somebody has Magnolia Crafting. Don't do that. Okay, just be a little bit more unique, okay? So, and then not trademarking a name here's the thing, depending on what your name is, first of all, I can expect the majority of us won't be so famous that somebody's gonna try to trademark your name for you in spite of you. I don't assume that. I assume people might trademark your name because they like the name in general and they thought of it first. Now your trademark is gone. And now they could tell you can't use that name anymore. And that's problematic for a couple of reasons. One, because it's part of your identity, your business, and while you could change the name and you still have good quality, you still have good customer service, hopefully, and all that stuff, your designs are the same, it hurts, okay? That's number one. Number two, it's very inconvenient because you have to change your Etsy shop name, your Amazon shop name, you're this, you're that, and it's annoying. It's annoying. So I firmly believe, and this is a legitimate advice, first, I told you to make sure that name is available everywhere and it's not confusing compared to somebody else's name. That's number one. Number two, I'm not asking you to trademark the second you're open, okay? Trademarking, I believe, is like $300 if you do it on your own. And I feel that if you've made anywhere in revenue, profit, whatever, at least $5,000, and you want to do this as a full-time job. $5,000 is very little, by the way, because most people that are listening to this probably have made a lot more, probably been selling for a couple of years, etc. I don't even know what you're waiting for. What are you waiting for? Are you telling me that you actually don't take this business seriously and it's only a way to make money for the next few years and you're going to stop it? Fair enough. Then maybe ignore this part. But I like to assume most people watching this actually want to continue with their business. Okay, so the worry about not trademarking the name, it could really completely, again, even if you don't mind changing your name, because it's annoying, right? On your branding, on this, on that, and you're like, no worry, my customers will know I changed my name. Like, even if that's the best case scenario, emotionally, it's very hard, okay? And we're very emotionally unstable beings, us entrepreneurs, and it's very difficult to deal with. I trademarked my name. Obviously, I own my trademark, but a long, long time ago, I was called something else when I first started, barely, okay? And then I accidentally let my .com expire. I had .com for a blog. It's whatever, okay? It doesn't matter. But I noticed that somebody else bought it and did some like weird ass shit with it. And I was like, okay, gotta change my name. I wasn't, I didn't have this like whole like people like buying from me. Like it was fine. But it still was emotionally hard. I was happy though in the end because I was able to get a cooler name because I wasn't thinking when I first got that first name. But I wasn't only like X amount of year in or like months in, and it happened. I don't want that for you. Get a trademark, okay? If you're actually doing this for a legitimate business. Other dumb shit people do, Etsy sellers do, is wanting to increase revenue but doing nothing about it. You might be like, I'm trying my hardest. I'm doing a lot about it. But no, let me explain. The stuff you're working on, is it actually here to help you? So here's the thing. If you're like, Dahlia, if you're complaining about you wanting more revenue, and I look at your to-do list, not just today's, maybe today you have an admin day, but if I look at your to-do list over the next month, and I don't see a majority of those things are tasks or goals that are that are revenue drivers. And that's dumb shit. That's dumb shit. You know, for example, I mentioned earlier listing products that people want. So right now, just an example, my designer, that's why I keep looking at my screen too, because I have my chats up with her here. She's listing products. She's getting photoshopping them right now. Things that people want. Okay, we did research, like we have a whole thing, you know, with it. And so we are working on tasks that actually are revenue drivers, okay? Listing new products, okay? Another example is if you only sell on Etsy and you're like, I want to make more money, then sell on Amazon. Stop. Look at my other video in this YouTube channel. I'm not going to link it. You'll find it, okay? Just find it. I forgot what it's called. Probably also something like, you know, You're Literally Dumb. Yeah, it's called You're Literally Dumb. Watch that video. But whatever hiccup you have about selling on Amazon, get over it. Get over it and start selling, okay? Because you're going to make money. Or if you're already selling on Amazon and Etsy, you know, is there another marketplace you could go on, right? Another thing is if you want to increase your income, like I said, there's a whole bunch of revenue generating tasks. Here's how you identify what those are for you. But I just gave you some general ones that pretty much work for everyone. Look at the ways you make money, you know, whether it be, regardless, how you make money, and say, what am I doing every day, every week to help grow this? So you might say, well, imagine you only sell on Etsy. You might say, well, right now I'm selling on Etsy. This is how much I made. These are the products I made it from. I should be selling on Amazon. Or I keep seeing that this type of product sells a lot. You know what? I should be really releasing more updated type of products within that category. You know, what is the revenue driver? For me, it's my ad campaigns. It's the products. It's creating certain types of products. It's increasing my conversions. It's increasing my average order value. Like, I'm always working on revenue drivers. Okay, amongst other things, of course, the other things have to, you know, but if you find yourself working on stuff that don't matter most of the time, dumb. It's very dumb. Spending a lot of time in Facebook groups, just reading and answering, you know, it's okay to help people, right? Answering people's questions, etc. But if you find yourself more often than not in there, that is not really helpful for your business. Because a lot of times we're in there because we need to ask questions and help understand how to answer a customer or whatever. Fine. But sometimes people are in there just for BS. And I'm not talking about my group. I'm talking about other groups, okay? Get to work. Get to work, okay? Here's other dumb shit people do is complaining about a forced return, or, you know, Etsy refunded without waiting for it to be refunded, or it was delayed and they refunded it, or whatever. When you make thousands, a month or a year, it doesn't matter, because if you actually look at the math, hold on a second. Hold on. Let me pause. Okay, sorry, I'm back to the list. Yeah, and also complaining for hours about returns and this. And listen, I understand principle is actually very important. It's not that I'm arguing that, but first of all, it doesn't, if you do the math, it doesn't happen enough for the percentage to sales to be anywhere as significant as it should be. By the way, I understand people that just started selling, having a forced return or having something issue like that happen can be a significant high amount. I know, I'm not arguing that. Forget that person. In general, it typically isn't. And by the way, if it is, if you're making thousands of dollars a month and your rate of return or rate of refund dollars compared to your sales is fairly high, then you're probably the problem. Is it your product? Is it the expectation of your product, right? So imagine I sell note cards to people, right? And I do. And they receive it. And once they receive the note card is as thin as this. I'm going to keep getting complaints. You might be like, but Dalia, I told them in the listing it's thin paper quality or whatever. But you have to understand that there's a level of expectation when it comes to people buying something, whether it's because based on the price, based on, you know, your photos, etc. And so the expectation did not match what they received. You might say, it's not my fault, the expectation was different. I listed it in the description, but there is a baseline expectation. When I buy note cards, I expect the quality not to be pixelated, with the printing. I expect, the note cards to arrive without it being bent. I expect the note cards to be of decent weight, not like this. I don't have to read the description for that. That is a natural assumption by humans. I think sometimes people have a disconnect, and you're always learning about your customer, but natural disconnect between what the expectation is and what your product is. And we're always learning, and that's okay. But if you have a very high return amount in dollars compared to your revenue, you're the problem. I stand by that. You just don't know it yet. So don't be angry at me. You just don't know it yet, okay? And if you don't, what are you complaining about? Like, I mentioned this in that previous video where I make millions on Amazon, right? Fantastic. My return rate, based on the math that I did, and I could look up exactly, but I probably return around, I forgot the number, is it 5,000 to 8,000? Something like that, okay? Let's say 8,000, even the high number. It's definitely not more than that in the year. You think I'm gonna sit there and complain about $8,000 forced return, whether the mail was lost and, whatever, okay, whatever the reason, whether it's your fault or not, whether it's like, whatever. When I make, what was it? I forgot how much I made in Amazon, 1.8, 1.6 million, I forgot, in 2023. Not gonna care. By the way, at the moment I care. At the moment it feels sucky, right? We're still humans. We can't completely separate ourselves. It is still our business. Hell, even employees get pissed, right? If you've seen retail employees that act like their dad owns the store, right? It's a natural human response. I understand that. I'm not arguing that, but really you should work on moving forward. Also, other dumb shit people do is with that, you not only do you vent or whatever, it's okay, we vent, whatever, but you don't actually take the issue and work on it. For example, let's say a customer complains about something, about a font, right? The S doesn't look like an S, she wants a return, blah, blah, she's angry, right? Fine, we return it, right? Because the S doesn't look like an S in her opinion. A dumb thing to do is to vent and be upset that Etsy returned it, blah, blah, and then be done. A smart thing to do is after you vent, it's okay to vent, say, okay, but seriously, what are we learning from here? What's wrong here? Is it really us? Is that us? Does that look weird? Do other customers possibly see that? Maybe they didn't say anything. Maybe some people don't say anything and it's fine, but maybe I could totally see us picking a better font that doesn't have a trouble looking S. By the way, this is a true story. In certain script fonts, S's and T's and I's are stupid, okay? So we learn, and now we avoid those fonts, okay? Because not always, sometimes they cause trouble, but we have enough trouble with them that we're like, okay, this is done. So now when we pick a font, when we design, we look through all the letters. I know that sounds silly, but we have a process, and so we learn and we improve our product because of these complaints. So if you're dumb if you don't take these complaints and try to learn from them. If you just end it with complaining, or even if you don't complain, even if you just move on, that is dumb. Okay. It'd be not me to say that. It would be not me if I don't even mention this, but listing without proper SEO. Everything you see, well, I don't know what that means, but well, yeah, I mean, I am what I am today for a few reasons, more than a few, my businesses. But everything in my business and the people I employ, this house that we purchased, all these things are possible because of my business. And the biggest reason my business succeeded is because of SEO. And so I live and die by it. It's my life. It's my foundation of my business. It's what I do. I can do it in my sleep. And so while you are there saying, oh, I can't do it in my sleep, guys, a little hard for me. Fair enough. And that's fine. Everybody starts that way. But it's dumb if you don't list without proper SEO. or without knowing what SEO is about at all. I mean, you have to start somewhere, right? But learning, if you're in the process of learning, that's good. If you stop trying to learn because and you know you're not great at it, that's a problem. Last thing I'm going to wrap this up video with it saying, dumb shit that Etsy sellers do is, and I know it sounds like opposite what I just said right now, but they harp on SEO, when reality is SEO is fine. Listen, sometimes you can really survive if your SEO is fine, good to great, etc., to perfect. But a lot of times it's not really their issue, because I always hear about this SEO craze, whatever, they should do SEO. I love that, fantastic. But they forget that SEO is not going to fix a sucky product. It just won't. And sometimes it's a marriage between the two. It's a little bit of both. Hey, you do have to improve your SEO a bit. It's not horrible, but to improve a bit. But also, this is the issue with your product. How do you know what the problem is? The easiest solution is if you have a decent amount of views and no conversions or very low conversion rate, the problem is probably your product. Could be SEO, by the way. If you find that the SEO that's bringing your customer in is not really relevant. If they search for a personalized tumbler and they receive this in the search that is not personalized, obviously it doesn't match, so that they won't click on it. Or impressions to click-through rate, which you could pretty much get through ads, because ads will show you impressions. Etsy doesn't, regular stats. And it's an SEO issue, kind of, if you don't really have views, okay? If you don't get found in search. Sometimes it's the reason why you're not getting found in search because you don't actually have a product people want to search for. That's fair enough, right? But also another indicator is you don't have views. So that's on my list of dumb shit that Etsy sellers do. I made this video because I wanted you guys to laugh, but also to look at this stuff and say, which stuff do I do? And improve on it. Okay, guys, bye.